Dude, got it. Got it. Got it. Oh my god, we are the worst. Check. Oh. Let's check our sound now. Got it. Oh my god, we are the worst. Check. Hello, everybody. Oh, I apologize for that. We had the only kind of difficulties that we encounter in this show, those of the technical kind. It was technically difficult, therefore the best kind of difficult. Oh, there goes Matt. Matt. I'm just linking everything over. We all know you just want to come and win the draw for Go Green. And it's the raffle for Go Green. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should call Go Green. That is for sure. You can find their website, Go Green. No, it's a Facebook page. Okay, I'm just going to link us over to the chat thing. A couple of false starts this morning as I figured some stuff out. So anybody who queued in for those, haha. Thank you for being so attentive, but that was just me dicking with you. Okay, there we go, the live on the couch chat. Boom. There we go. I'm linking in. Let's start today. Oh, I'm on the air now. Yeah, she has a membership. Okay, very good then. All right, It took me a little bit to get things going in there. The Adobe program wouldn't start up, and it turns out it's because it was just opening copies upon copies of stuff. I'm a Mac person, and I like my computers to have enough RAM that things happen instantaneously. I mean, if Amazon ever comes out with a computer that combines their predictive marketing technology along with processor speeds, my computer's got a pretty good chance of what I'm looking for before I even find it myself.
Yeah, I bet.
That was disconcerting. I also used the broken audio jack, so there goes my audio just kicking in and out of my own headset.
Oh my god, that must be like crazy voice.
Yeah, it's right there. It's in this terrible fucking...
You want to switch?
Terrible. Oh, I think this came with a broken headset thing. Oh, there we go. See?
Nice.
See, I am plagued with technical difficulties. And then I didn't get the microphone stands into the right positions or anything.
I kept bumping the lamp when I was moving mine.
Yeah, yours is normally out a bit more. I don't know. I've smoked a lack of cannabis products this morning, and it has put me completely out of sorts. I don't know.
I've been lacking the coffee myself, so I'm kind of like that.
I get jacked up on every morning I wake up and I drink some Vegegreens thing because I tend to lack eating actual food. I run around so much. The staff over there are like, you should eat more. Like food. No, don't just eat a chocolate bar, retard. Eat some food. So yeah, in fact, Cap bought me dinner last night from Gabriel's. Oh my!
Oh, I love their food though.
Really? I was about to say, the food was okay. The soup and sandwich, it was tasty. Although they put a pickle and stuff on my pulled pork sandwich, and a pickle and tomato and lettuce, which is an interesting choice because traditionally you should be putting coleslaw on there. Also, I found their pulled pork was just tame. Like no adventure in the spice. There was no I can taste a handmade sauce. I know when somebody has cooked their meat from the beginning with seasoning because you have to cook the seasoning into the meat. You can't just dump it on top, right?
Yeah.
So their consistency was good, but the very bland food. I mean,
They
I'm
don't
not
put
surprised.
coleslaw on their pulled pork?
No, it was and here was the fucked up thing. By putting lettuce, tomato, and pickle on it, it tasted like a Big Mac on shredded meat.
That's interesting.
That's what
Because you gotta have the slaw.
Fucking coleslaw is pulled pork is the only thing I eat coleslaw on. If you put it beside me on a thing, I'm like, oh, why did you put the topping for pulled pork beside my KFC?
Right? Like I'll eat it as I have no problem eating it as a side, but on an actual a sandwich thing, it's got to be pulled pork.
Okay, if I'm gonna eat a coleslaw, you might convince me if it's a fresh carrot and red cabbage coleslaw with some raisins and a bit of pumpkin spice in it.
Nice.
Right, so it's kind of bordering on savory, kind of bordering. I might eat some of that off to the side, but only Like, I don't know, coleslaw is meant to go on shit, and I like a fresh coleslaw. I do not like a next day soggy fucking coleslaw.
No.
That shit's got to get on the veg. I want crunch. You know, and I make a really my pulled pork sandwiches tend to have like fucking whiskey in the sauce. I've used coffee, demi-glace, red wines, various srirachas, layers of seasoning, Frank's Red Hot. I mean, not all in one sauce. These are various sauces, but for the most part, my pulled pork is spicy as fuck to the point where when you get that nice tangy but chill coleslaw, you know what's really good is if you can use English salad cream
Oh, yeah,
in your
yeah,
coleslaw.
yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, with the hints of cucumber.
Big time.
Oh,
I with Gabriel's, I go there often. I usually go there for lunch or like I go for breakfast.
are you
but
spying on the enemy?
Everyone's the enemy in Matt's world. Actually, that's
Oh.
kind of true.
You
No,
know,
but anyway, I'll eat breakfast there. But the one food I freaking love there, it's like a peanut sauce rice bowl they have.
oh, Jesus.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It was like a coconut Thai peanut satay thing all for vegans.
No, you can put chicken. Although
you
there
can
is the tofu option.
Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's not even a thing. You know what I'm
Oh,
going to
I
start
hate
doing when I
tofu.
go in there to
Tofu.
pay is I'm going to leave my conservative Party of Canada card where my license should be
You should see
instead.
if you get a discount anywhere. Like you should show that to all the businesses that you go to in
Oh,
downtown.
why?
Nanaimo.
So that I get free spit? Here you go. Here you go. Here's your fucking meal plus some free spit.
I just think it's funny that you are literally a card carrying member. Like that's like the figure of speech it's always used, but like no, fuck that. You are a card carrying.
Oh, I
member.
whip it out now too. Oh yeah, fuck whipping your penis out. I just whip out my conservative card member.
Well, in Western Canada, it basically is whipping out your dick.
Oh, I know. Fuck yeah. Boom. Let's lay down about this. I could probably take any three liberals in a fight. Like,
Well, it depends on this time of year.
no, here's how you start the fight. There's only two genders, and while two of them are crying, you beat up the third one, and then you work your way through. I think I've said that joke before.
You have.
Yes, you just trigger them. You just trigger them. It's really easy, and then their heads fucking explode, and they can't think. Right? And actually, if you've watched any of the videos of the fucking left attacking people on the right, they don't look like they know how to throw a punch.
No. Well, what was that one in Berkeley when there was like
the UC Berkeley one?
yeah, there was like 3 or 4 of them beating up on one guy because he called them fascists, and it was really 4-on-1, and like they took him.
Oh yeah, and they like hit him from behind. They
Yeah,
didn't want to
like, they
fight
were
him
little bitches
one-on-one, and
about
then
it.
he turned around to leave, and they knocked him out with a thing. What I like,
They're hitting him when he was already knocked unconscious. It was fucked.
oh yeah, no, I know.
And you're the left.
It's because they're fighting future Hitler. Ezra Levant was pointing this out. They feel completely justified because there's that moral question about if you could go back in time and kill Hitler as a baby, would you do it?
Yeah,
And like moral people,
like that
who-
punch a Nazi bullshit.
Yeah, like a person who believes in freedom of choice and blah blah blah, not preordained destiny. I mean, missing with the time stream is one thing, but you can't kill someone as a baby for things you're gonna worry they do as an adult.
Because time doesn't exist. Time only exists in our ego. Basically, the only thing that exists is the present. The past is a memory, and the future hasn't happened yet.
Was that the door? Did I hear the door knock? Hey,
I don't hear anything.
I don't know. The fucking stoner with a headset on, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean by that premise, I mean there's people who'd be like, oh, if we can just kill people because they're gonna become a
Yeah.
fascist, there'd be an entire people who are like, just wipe out a bunch of people over in the Middle East who look like they're following a fascist doctrine.
Exactly. And when are people going to learn as well that human nature is human nature is human nature, and human nature doesn't really like the foundations don't change. So once you get human nature into something like that, like preventative crime or like a minority report type shit,
Yeah.
then human nature will corrupt it, and before you know it, you're gonna have political dissidents going in, and you're gonna have whoever the leader is that decade isn't gonna want. Humans will fuck it up, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep, that's what we do. We fuck shit up. We're really good at it.
It's very true.
See, I told you that was the door. One of you guys get it, please? And the live podcast, right?
Right.
I mean, the only way this could be bad is if it was the cops knocking on the door.
Oh, they wouldn't knock.
Oh, no. They might politely ask me to shut up. It might be the language police, right?
Well, oh my God! Did somebody actually report this?
I-
Reported to the internet.
Oh, it's Carly. It's Carly. Fuck. No, it's okay. We were just talking about it on the podcast. How people were knocking, and how it's a live podcast, and you can just come on down.
Yeah,
Come on down. So I got the
Pretty
items
much.
on the table that I'll be giving away in the Go Green raffle. Minus some of the shatter. It's also some shatter for your raffle tickets. There is
Oh, nice.
a dab bong. Or there's a dab bowl. Dab bong. Tiniest dab bowl. Here, heat it up and just.
And then grab the metal
Yeah.
after you're done blowtorching it.
There is what I discovered to
Don't
be
grab
a
the metal.
slightly used carb cap, because the one that I had put down with the prizes, I think, got grabbed when we were doing the Kaitami show there, and I had to give it a wipe. But we have tested it thoroughly, determined that this milled piece of aluminum is not going to melt on the top of your dab rig.
We've been tested for your
Yeah.
convenience.
I mean, it might be steel, which I mean, all we need then is jet fuel.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice.
We were talking about that earlier. Talking about 9/11
Man, oh,
conspiracies. Fuck.
I tell you. And you know damn well that when we're in like 20 years from now, you know, it'll be like our generation's JFK. So like our grandchildren will be like, oh, there's Grandpa going off about 9/11 again.
Jesus Christ.
The grassy knoll. The grassy knoll.
Oh, yeah, it is totally our Kennedy assassination.
Totally.
Which was completely perpetrated by the same people. Because
Absolutely.
Kennedy was the last Donald Trump
He
figure.
was the last real president.
Well, you got to remember it was the mob that got Kennedy into power by fixing a bunch of fucking elections. He was not the choice of those parties because he wasn't owned by the establishment. I mean, you have to remember, Kennedy liked to have sex with adult women, right? Not children, and therefore it was hard for them to get the blackmail shit they have on him. Pizzagate.
Well, when you're
Hashtag Pizzagate. Hashtag Pizzagate's real.
when you're a God-fearing Christian from Massachusetts, the only the only religious rituals you do, it's Sunday at Mass.
Hey, to be fair, I like God-fearing Christians. At least they have some respect for something.
I just wish that all the God-fearing, all religious people would just like fuck off. Like go like practice your religion. I'm not saying don't practice your religion. I respect all religions, but oh my God, stop pushing your shit. Whether it's like indirectly or directly or by raising a village or invading a country or like anything, like just fucking stop.
I'm pretty sure the Christians got in trouble for telling a bunch of people to stop pushing their shit. Like, I don't agree with your style of marriage. Stop pushing your shit. It's not right.
And that's how we got Protestants.
That's how we got Protestants. Really? I was making a gay marriage joke.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I was ignoring it.
I was ignoring your gay. No, you need to bite. You're the only fucking person here. Bite on my gay marriage joke. Oh, shit. Whatever. I support gay marriage. I also support gay divorces. I don't care if people want to get married. Actually, that's what they should have done. Is they should have made them fight for the right of divorce, like we had to fight for against the Catholic Church.
Oh my God!
You only get one.
That would actually be hilarious. You're not allowed to divorce.
Yeah, a whole new march.
You're gonna fight.
Yeah, we regret this. That would be the entire march. We have regrets. We have regrets.
Oh my God! I know. I'm never going. I really have no interest in getting married or anything like that. So I just stay out of the debate. Like, yeah.
Why do you have no interest in getting married? Oh wait, we don't want nor ginger children.
Well, that's probably the only way I'm going to procreate. Will be just spreading the ginger. The ginger bloodline.
When you got old, you just found a newborn baby and breathed your ginger anti-soul into that, and then it sprouted red hair, and you started anew.
No. when we ruin and steal souls throughout our lifetime, when we die, our ginger energy life force continues on to the big red is what we call it.
Fuck.
It all goes back to the big red.
The big red. It's just a lot of free gum.
Basically, I got stoned one day. I watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z a couple years ago, and it just popped into my head. I'm joking. Internet, I'm joking. Oh, I am so screwed.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, everybody knows you can't watch any amount of Dragon Ball Z in one day.
No.
It's just like 17 hours of people go,
oh my God. When I was a kid, I'd watch Dragon Ball Z and like a Frieza or whatever. It was like an entire, sorry if you don't watch Dragon Ball Z people, but you got like an entire week of them just standing there like, previously on Dragon Ball Z. One guy stared at the other guy for 22 minutes.
Oh, I'm fucking...
Next time on Dragon Ball Z, will they fight?
Somebody made an abridged version, or like the company got so sick of it that they also made an abridged version, right? I've got this really awesome photo that my roommate sent me to the, that is a Dragon Ball Z photo. I'm going to send it out in the chat.
Decent.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's a fucking Dragon Ball Z does not approve meme or whatever. Meme magic. There are websites I would advise people to go to, except I wouldn't be allowed back on the radio anymore for the podcast.
That's the cartoon porn, right?
No. Most of it, there are only two ways to take some of the stuff I go to. It's either satirically, and then you look and you go, that's funny, or seriously, and that's when you think Pepe is a sign of Hitler. Right.
Barack Hussein Obama. I say his middle name because it matters.
You know that he was born in Kenya.
I personally believe that I do not believe he was born in Hawaii. Personally.
Yeah. Fucking what a lie.
I do not. I do
mean,
not.
there's-
Yeah.
no.
Well, the thing that I always I always like to cut the bullshit and just like look and cut through the media spin and the media bullshit. Basically, I remember back when they were like, the media will like spin it as just crazy and it just makes you not really pay attention to the evidence. But there is evidence. Like there's a province in Kenya that actually produced a birth certificate for Barack Obama, and then the Western media just kind of shot back and said, well, no,
the Western media, I think you
Yeah,
mean
like
the
CNN.
leftist media.
no,
or
they all in this case
the
they all kind
Western
of
Hemisphere
blew it off.
No, that Fox News was like blah. And remember, it was fucking Hillary Clinton that brought that up first.
That is
the
a
Democratic
very good point. You should. There's this book I have called Game Change.
game change.
Yeah, HBO actually did a movie about it based on Sarah Palin.
Oh. I don't know. I kind of liked Sarah Palin. She was quirky and funny. They tried to we'll get a woman vice president, but here's the funny thing about the left versus the right is it didn't work on the goddamn right because people on the right are like, I don't give a fuck about your gender. I don't give a fuck about the color of your skin.
yeah,
How good are you at doing your job?
Yeah,
Right?
that's traditionally though most traditional conservatives or right wing people think they don't give a fuck about you're gonna have bigots on both sides. I think at this point you have a lot of bigots on the right. They're just the reverse bigots. But on the right, I mean, they're more practical. I think as an independent, as someone who kind of looks at both sides, positively and negative, they're more practical. The right.
Yeah, the right is fact based. I just started the Joe Rogan and Louder with Crowder podcast.
Oh yeah.
I watched the rebuttal thing where Crowder had it was like a 5-hour podcast. Crowder had Joe on his show for like 10 minutes to get something straight because I guess Joe got a little bit drunk and got into like a fucking argument with Crowder in about the middle about pot for about 20 minutes just over the stats on like impaired driving due to being stoned or whatever.
Right.
Right. So they got into an argument because they disagreed about an interpretation of some information and blah, blah, blah. And then people on the internet blew it the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And so he made a point of going back and being like, no, we got into a disagreement. We're still friends. Like, fuck off.
You're allowed to disagree.
Yeah, even though you have different sides of an opinion.
Absolutely. That's something crazy about today's society where people get so fucking like butthurt over disagreements and arguments.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing you can do to someone now is unfriend them on Facebook or block them from. You won't block them off Facebook. You just block them from receiving messages because, fuck you.
Oh.
Like people get so like people should be allowed to have different opinions.
Oh, I think Jessica was she wasn't listening to the podcast when I put up that big angry fucking go to does not approve thing.
Oh.
Oh, I know I have to fix that. This is what the problem with the delayed feed is. I'm pretty sure I linked it. Yeah. Goddamn, I really need to get into it. Once I get a computer down here, we'll have that chat streaming through actually, and we can interact with people on the side of our YouTube stream as it's going, because then I think it actually interacts live.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's like, I didn't realize this. She goes, due to this, we won't be able to watch the show today. Can you let us know the ticket number? And I wasn't paying attention. The next thing I posted was Goku going, bro. Meme magic.
Nice.
No, if you don't watch the show, you can't win. Fuck. Okay, so we were chatting outside there and talking about red pilling.
Yeah.
Right, and then the term red pilling, because I want to bring up PewDiePie, or PewDiePie,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who was the video gaming phenomenon who made a couple of Nazi jokes, which are Nazi jokes are the best fucking jokes. Who's gonna complain? Who like
The internet?
Yeah. So you gotta. No, but I mean, like, you're allowed to make fun of Nazis. You just, what you can't do is you just can't punch a Nazi because you can't punch people for their political opinions. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Which is funny enough that you can't punch people to defend other people. So I guess if I saw you punching a Nazi because I believe in people's freedom of speech, I inadvertently might actually have to go and defend said Nazi.
What worries me about the punch and Nazi movement is that I'm not seeing any Nazis around. I'm seeing left-wing idiots who are violent, or not the entire left, but these people who are spreading this punch and Nazi thing. They're just violent people anyway, looking for an excuse to cause some shit.
Well, you're just not looking hard enough. The easiest way to see Nazis everywhere is to take a standard set of glasses and a Sharpie, and then you just draw a little black square right about where everybody's lip would be. And as you look around, Nazis everywhere. Just, there's a really good fucking response I have. It's to the point where it's gotten out. It's ended up on the Rebel and shit like that. I've had this one for a couple of months, a meme, which is the cover of a children's book with Hitler riding like a sled, and the fucking thing is, everybody I hate is Hitler of the leftist side, the leftist guide to debate. Right? Oh, it's epic. What are the odds of having a lighter over the fuck here?
I got one.
Oh no. I better finish this pop so we can use it as an ashtray. I fucking set my Orange Crush on the thing the other day, and it's like almost full, and then I light a joint, and I pass it around a circle of stoners, and then I go to get a sip of my Crush, and someone's just been like, oh, here's a can all ash, and that's fucking Tyson's full Orange Crush.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, it's the worst thing. You ever drink a Wasp?
Oh.
I mean, well, not all the way drink it,
But
just enough that it fucking stings you in the
gonna
mouth.
get you.
Oh, I hate ass like wasps, vespids. If you don't know what a vespid is, not a Vespa, a vespid. It's the entire dicky little wasp family.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I really like ants, and I didn't realize that ants evolved from wasps.
That's from.
Yeah, from wasps. So first they evolved the ability to fly, and then they evolved the ability to live in a hive or become a hive organism, because there's still bees that are individual bees, like these bees that live out in Australia that are super aggressive, but they mate on an individual basis and then just have like 2 more bees.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah, or like a clutch of eggs. So the hiving thing is an evolved behavior, right? It's not less. It's not like, oh, communists are gonna fucking string me up for this one, but a non-hive mind mentality is a lower level of the insect evolutionary thing or whatever, right? Although we all watched the movie Ants with fucking Woody Allen.
Yep.
Yeah, right. See what happens when you don't have a little bit of independent thought in there. And, you know, yeah, they evolved from wasps, so that's why male ants still have wings when they go off to mate and stuff like that. But then they drop them off, right? Some ants still have stingers, right? Other ants can shoot formic acid.
Wow.
Right? You think formic, it's not like melting like the Joker. Formic acid is like a strong citric acid, and it also tastes shitty. So if you're like a crow trying to sit there and pick at ants and eat them, they're like spraying this disgusting shit in your mouth. And so, like, I mean, you know, a bunch of ants are going to die.
That's evolution to me right there.
Yeah.
Though. Like,
Yeah.
quick. They're like a skunk, right? Like, oh, if someone's bothering me, quick. Piss a disgusting smelling thing all over them.
Actually, the most logical evolution of the wasp, especially with the fact that they're already a species that will sting another animal to incapacitate it, then lay eggs inside of it, and then wait until the eggs hatch, and then they'll eat that animal from the inside, like they do this to larger insects. The most logical evolution of them would be the Geiger-esque style aliens, if they ever evolved to be a planet controlling thing. Oh yeah, like alien behavior, I don't know if Geiger did it intentionally or just accidentally, but like wasps and aliens act a lot alike.
Interesting.
Freaky.
It interests me too. This is just how like ants evolved from wasps.
I
Like,
love ants. And I hate
how
wasps.
did like why did they like? Because I just think of like a wasp being a superior insect. But am I correct? I don't really know anything about this.
A couple of reasons why they might have evolved from wasps or whatever. Changing climatary conditions might drive you underground.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, you have a meteor hit the planet, and then the air is real shitty outside for a couple of decades or whatever, right? I mean,
That's true.
If you only had a small temperate zone around the equator, you can only have so much stuff living in that area before shit gets pushed to the edges of that area, and then has to evolve different methods of surviving. Right. Did you know that the wolves that live on Vancouver Island are a genetic subspecies of the rest of the wolves in Canada?
Really? Light it up.
Yeah, a bunch of this area didn't freeze during the last ice age, right? Like the Broken Group and stuff like that. So while other wolves were developing methods for dealing with perpetual snow, these wolves figured out how to swim between the fucking little islands and stuff. So they're they're a species of wolf that will actively swim in ocean water, and they will chase the deer from island to island.
Holy
Right.
shit.
Yeah. Oh, the Rebel Media just uploaded a video titled "The ISIS Suicide Bomber Paid For by You." I assume this is going to be something to do with all that money that Trudeau gave to Hamas not too long ago. Well, he didn't give it to Hamas. He gave it to a charity organization fronted by Hamas, which has been proven multiple times in the past to turn around and give their money to fucking Hamas, to the point where Stephen Harper put them on a list and defunded them, and then Justin Trudeau, in his quest to reverse everything Harper without even reading why it was done, Fucking, I mean, seriously, if Stephen Harper had written the law on, like, you have to wear seatbelts, Justin would be like, seatbelts are not Canadian. Or wait, he doesn't give a shit about Canadian
Well,
values. Seatbelts are
Justin Trudeau,
anti-Islamophobic.
Justin Trudeau changes his opinion based upon whatever the opinion polls is of that week or whatever Huffington Post is doing an article about that month. But, for the photo op.
It's like hanging out with that guy that doesn't have any hobbies or interests of his own. He just, like, kind of really badly talks about whatever you're talking about when you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'll do that in sales when I used to sell cell phones.
You just
and
read my
shit.
mind. Yeah, sales. It's a good technique to use and to regurgitate what you just heard.
Well, okay, if you want to be a good salesperson, you kind of got to take cues from, remember Ocean's 11? The good Ocean's 11? Okay, I actually never saw the original. I'm talking about the remake Ocean's 11, but I'm talking about the one that was before Ocean's 12 and 13 and 17 and fucking...
The
How many
first one.
guys do you need to pull a fucking heist off? I mean...
I'm biased. That's one of my favorite movie series.
Yeah,
series.
I fucking hate Julia Roberts. George Clooney hasn't been a good actor since...
Easy now.
Okay, look. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Fucking awesome movie. That one he was in with Jennifer Lopez, even though she's not the best actor, where he was fucking the jewel thief or whatever.
Fuck, what movie? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember the name off the top of
Yeah,
my head, but
shit.
it was really fucking good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he played a good actor in that. Jennifer Lopez kind of sucked a dick like she did in everything.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
I was never a fan.
In case you're confused there, she's not actually sucked a dick in any movies. We'd all know the title of that, right? And then she'd be like Angelina Jolie famous as a lesbian scene in Gia. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Went on to be a really lackluster career after that, though. Fuck me.
What did she do? She won an Oscar, didn't she?
What, for fucking that chick?
No, that was on Showtime, wasn't it?
That's where I saw it as a
Yeah,
teenager, man.
that's the only time I've ever seen it. It was on like a Showcase or Bravo before like old Bravo, not the new Bravo television.
Softcore porn showcase for
Yeah,
after,
where
people
they-
with jobs had to go to
They
bed.
played like weird artsy shows during the day that no one would ever want to watch, and then at nighttime it's just softcore porn.
Maybe we're lucky because we're from that era, right? And then we might still have the ability to enjoy softcore pornography.
I miss some of the little things in life.
Yeah, Red Shoe Diaries with David
Oh my
Duchovny.
God, yes, the
Fuck.
fucking Showcase on Friday nights, man.
Oh,
Got me through my preteens.
Jesus. And then there was always going to the movie store and renting movies that said they had partial nudity. What was it? Fucking Bruce Willis in Heat. Or no, it wasn't Heat. Bruce Willis in Heat of the Night or something like that. Plays a psychologist who is dating a patient who's got transgender issues and is killing all his other patients
my
or
God.
something like that. Right? So he fucking... Yeah, it's really weird. But a lot of nudity in that movie. A lot of nudity if you were like... I'm talking like early 90s film
Yeah,
nudity,
like
right?
before the internet became a huge. When the internet wasn't like it wasn't just assumed that everywhere had like Wi-Fi was like long ways away.
Back when there
and-
was still pubic hair, like on
Yeah.
women.
and
yeah.
like the like yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when women looked like adults when they took their clothing off. Fuck. If you can't see Matt, he's turning as red as his hair. He's like, I have no idea what to say to this right now.
I just have a rather big shit-eating grin on my face right now.
You know what I love is how you can gauge the age of porn as it like goes back. I'd love to. So
Well-
he needs to make a porn compilation clip that just shows like the same sex position being done from a movie from like 2017,
That's not a bad idea.
2016, 2015. It's just like 30 seconds, and all you would notice as it went back in time is the film got grainier and the bushes got bigger. It would go from non-existent to up to the belly button and creeping around the legs, right?
You could like probably see like some cool trends too in porn. Like,
Yeah.
what was trendy from that decade?
Oh, you can tell
Because
when
like
they
your
developed
the porn
fucking-
would reflect it, wouldn't it? Like,
Oh,
did somebody order a pizza? Like, shit like that.
I love fucking old school porn actors like the men. That was a body type that was kind of attainable. You're like, yeah, I could be fucking kind of hairy with a handlebar mustache and a bit of a gut. I
Hey,
can
what's
do
up?
this. Yeah. Like
Now it's like steroids.
Oh, if it's all supposed to be about a fantasy, then why are all the men like, I could not look like that? The fantasy would be George Costanza style men just fucking like Jenna Jameson. That's why Ron Jeremy the Hedgehog was so popular, right? Like Jesus Christ.
Probably because women watch porn too, and they probably just sick and tired of seeing.
Women watch a lot of lesbian porn or a lot of gay porn.
Yep.
Yeah, like, do you think men are the ones watching that porn where there's women fucking men with strap-ons and stuff? No,
No.
no,
So,
no.
Although you never
no,
know. I mean,
no, you never know. No, you know why the men's watch that? Because he's gotten confused about the title. He's like, hot strap-on action. Click. Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
They talk about it was in fucking Eurotrip or something. Where buddy's like, I watched a gay porno once.
Oh,
we kept waiting for the chicks to come. 20 minutes in, they never came, dude. The chicks never. Yeah.
That is a very underrated movie, by the way.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Eurotrip was fucking awesome.
I loved
They're in the
Eurotrip.
club in Europe, and it's fucking the techno European version of Scotty Doesn't Know.
Yeah.
They're all fucking high on absinthe.
Scotty doesn't know. That is like.
That's Matt Damon fucking
Right?
Yeah, playing the punk fucking guy. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. It's a fucking awesome. So it was catchy too.
It really was like.
I had the techno version of it. You know, another song I have is the that techno German beat that that German couple in the original Super Troopers are playing in the
Oh
car.
my God.
Yeah, it's just fucking awesome.
I remember that. I can't wait for the new one.
I donated $150 to their Kickstarter.
Did you?
Right, and I said,
Thank you.
I didn't realize how long it was going to take because I said, send me all my stuff at once to help you save money. I moved to 3 houses and across a province and have to keep changing my address to get a hoodie, a poster, aviators, and a fake mustache and badge. Right? And when I ordered it, I didn't have a mustache, and now I've grown a full fucking beard. So I guess I ordered a fake unibrow.
Oh my God, you're good.
I could lend it to you.
Yeah. We'll do an episode like Mustache Wednesdays.
Mustache Wednesdays. Yeah. Fuck. I'll go get some skin-colored tape and put it on, and you can wear a fake beard.
Yeah.
Bizarro.
Hockey tape.
Fuck. So in the comic book world, you know, like what was it called? It was Star Trek, where everybody just like grows a goatee, and in the opposite universe,
Yep.
they're the evil version, because it's the easiest thing to do when you've got a week break in filming to fucking do the other half.
It's true.
Right? So, you ever think about what happened if Spock ever just wanted to have a goatee after the...
He decides to keep it.
It's all, well, no, like regular
Relatively
Spock, like 2 years
fashionable.
later, forgets about it. He's like, I think I might look good with a goatee. And comes on. Oh, no, you've kidnapped regular Spock. Just
What?
punches him the fuck out.
They're all like confused and shit. Like, oh, what will we do now?
Oh, jeez. It was fucking sad losing Leonard Nimoy there, last year or so.
Yeah.
Right? He only made it. Was he even in that last Star Trek? In the third one? Fuck, the storyline was...
Wow, I actually haven't seen the third one.
Oh, okay. I know I've seen it, but the storyline was fucking forgettable as shit compared to the first two.
Yeah, I really like the first one.
Yeah. I know those went downhill. Like, you thought that Khan was going to be the better villain, and people actually harshed on the Romulan guy in the first one, but I thought he was fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, he's gone back in time, and now he's not even trying to change time. He knows the supernova's inevitable. Who's going to believe him that he's from the future and they should just evacuate a planet? So, fuck it, I'm going to blow people up. Like, it was good when he's going fucking, don't tell me it hasn't happened. It happened. I've seen it. And fucking, he was like an insane villain. I got his shit. Like, watching pictures of his wife and kid as he just fucking blows a planet up.
Holy shit.
Oh, no, the first one was good. Blowing up Vulcan, that was dark. How do you top that? That was kind of like in fucking G.I. Joe, right?
Right.
In the first one, they launched those nanites at the Eiffel Tower and fucking toppled the Eiffel Tower.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Yeah, if you haven't seen G.I.
G.I.
Joe.
Joe.
G.I. Joe 1.
Yeah, like fucking... Or the remake of Star Trek that J.J. Abrams put out, like, what, fucking 5 years ago? I don't feel I have to put a spoiler alert out for movies that came out 5 fucking years ago.
Bruce
right?
Willis is also dead in The Sixth Sense.
Oh, yeah. And he
Sorry,
dies at
guys.
the end of Armageddon.
Oh, shit.
Fuck yeah, he does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man. Fucking, stupid Sixth Sense bullshit just got me completely off thought. Oh, yeah, no, but I thought that... oh yeah, that's what it was. They blew up the Eiffel Tower in the first fucking G.I. Joe.
Right.
On fucking the first G.I. Joe, and then, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure those are all correct. I get work messages. The second one, and this is an actual thing that they know will work. They had that satellite up in space that had those giant tungsten steel rods, right?
Right.
No. Which is actually kind of a waste. You don't need a big tungsten steel rod. What you can actually do is mine a bunch of fucking iron from an asteroid, and then you just bake a ceramic clay shell around it to act as a heat shield. and you fucking fire it in a descending orbit around the Earth, right? Or if you're actually way further out, because there's a science fiction book I read about this where they'll launch these things like from 3 days out in the solar system and fucking arc them around planets to gain more speed. If
Right.
you know math and trigonometry, you know that the Earth is going to be here. So if you're in a spaceship and you're like, okay, the Earth's coming around the sun, it's spinning at this rate. I want to blow Los Angeles up with a fucking giant ceramic-covered iron boulder from space, right? You use a railgun to launch it to get it up to velocity faster than your ship, because with physics work, if your ship is going this fast, and then you use a railgun to accelerate it that fast,
Right.
it slingshots around a planet or two, comes arcing in at the fucking Earth. No propellants in it, no explosives in it. The kinetic force it's built up when it fucking hits the ground just levels shit, but no radiation or whatever. Really good to like move people in, resettle the area afterwards. So that's the weapon they used in G.I. Joe Retaliation that they dropped on. I think they dropped it on France again. I think people that were like a little miffed about some. That was the whole fucking right after the Freedom Fries bullshit. Eh?
Oh,
It's
my
like 8 years after they were all pissed at the
Freedom
French.
fries thing still pisses me off.
I eat French fries,
Yeah, they're
motherfucker.
French fries.
I mean, how about we gonna change
Freedom
the name
fries.
of Poutine too? I mean,
France basically funded the American Revolution anyway. So, like, I found it extremely hypocritical back then. This is like, and this is back, what, like 2003, was it?
well, they didn't want to
With the
join the
Iraq War?
coalition of the willing.
Yeah. George Bush's coalition of the willing against Iraq. It was like Britain, the U.S.
The coalition of shared guilt because we brought all
Yeah.
the guns.
Yep, pretty much.
Honestly, I think that the major problem is not enough people joined that coalition of the willing.
Because nobody was willing. Rightfully so.
Really, I honestly, they could have. Like, I mean, according to the left's whole ethos right now, where if you are pretty sure stuff's going to get shitty in the future, you're allowed to just take violent and drastic action to head it off at the pass.
Apparently so.
You know, maybe the coalition of the willing just should have went in there with some fucking nukes and some Flammenwerfers, and we could have had a big glass skating rink over there. And
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't really. I hate government. I'm not a fan of government.
Which government?
Any government. I don't believe government has our best interests at heart.
Yeah.
I
So it
believe
should be
the-
all private corporations?
No, I don't have really the answer to that. All I know is that because
Think
even then they
cavemen?
still wouldn't have. I'm not saying. All I'm pointing out to is that the fact that our system is not perfect. I know it's our system. That's never going to change.
Yeah.
But where I'm going with this is that I don't really support innocent civilians dying over bullshit that's waged between essentially the ruling
so
class.
where's innocent? So like if you work in the manufacturing industry for a communist country that wages war, are you innocent?
Well, the same. What happens if Russia invades Vancouver Island, and what if that argument that you just made?
Well,
is
then
used
all of
on
those
you?
liberals in fucking Vancouver are going to go out with their bongs and their dildos and wage the good fight against those fascist fuckers, right? No? Oh, wait, no. They'll welcome them with open arms. Comrade.
But what if it's your family that's getting like leveled and bombed or whatever? I'm not. And once again, I know that's the reality of the situation, but
If someone bombed my family, I would go to my armory and I would take up action. Just like the brave Canadian soldiers that were like, and people that were former soldiers were like, fuck this ISIS shit. I'm leaving the military and I'm going over there to
so
do
much
something
respect
about
for
it.
those people too. By the
Fucking
way,
mad
those
respect.
are real soldiers. But
Multi-generations of my family have been in the
under
military.
that same argument, though, what happened? Like that's essentially what's happening over there. Like one quote that I've always found very interesting is that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
Uh-huh.
And while I consider terrorists would just be basically terrorizing and murdering innocent civilians.
Yeah, but
Civilians.
The Islamic form of terrorism was so brutal that the Irish Republican Army was like, you know what, we're going to stop blowing stuff up. You're making terrorism look like shit.
Yeah, that was after 9/11, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They put out a press release and they're like, yeah, they've really fucked up terrorism for everyone now.
Yeah.
That's my terrible act. Like, how
But I think that there's
how bad is your brand of terrorism when you ruin it for everyone else?
Well, I mean, it's definitely been the focus, and the reality of the situation is like is Islamic terrorism. That's the majority of terrorism right now.
The majority.
But at the same time, if if I'm a numbers person, though,
590 odd terrorist
Yeah.
attacks in the world last year.
Mhm.
It was like 596 of them were Islamic, and 2 of them were communists.
But at the same time, I'm a numbers person, and I
Those
look
were
at
numbers.
Well, exactly. Let's look at the numbers. Though the number one religion, or with the most population on the planet,
Don't call it
is-
number one
is
just because there's the
Islam.
most of them.
No, it's number one in the sense of
I mean-
population, and so basically, I can understand
If you
why
look
the
at like
majority.
a McLaren, it's like the number one car, but just
It's-
because there's a bunch of
no,
Priuses,
I'm not. No, you're not hearing me because I'm not talking about
Islam's
like,
a Prius.
Yeah, it's not like I'm not talking about ranking it. I'm talking about just the people in the actual religion. So realistically, if you're gonna have the number one religion for population in the world, yeah, they're probably gonna have the number one amount of terrorist attacks when you're labeling what type of, because most
Oh my
most
God.
wars and terrorist
No,
attacks
but
come down
by-
to religion
by
anyway.
By your
So-
prerogative, then there should be also a specific amount of Buddhist terrorist attacks that have gone on.
Well, if you
and
ask
especially-
someone in China reading Chinese propaganda, they might argue that there are Buddhist terrorist
Excuse me,
attacks going on.
Are you just speaking to when the fucking Chinese university students had goddamn
Well, isn't the Dalai Lama- yeah,
called
like the-
down as an
yeah,
instigator of hate?
the Dalai Lama's
Right.
he's like
Oh, by the way, if we want to
So-
talk about people's favorite subjects for the left over here, communism and Islam, do we know how the Communist Party of China dealt with the Yellow Turban communist invasion in the north, like a couple years
Well-
back? Because you remember hearing about that. Oh, people have been at knife attacks in northern China, took over a police station, and then nothing. Because they sent the Chinese military up there and they lined up everybody who looked a little bit fucking Muslim-y or not. Like, there's no freedom of religion in China. You
No.
practice your religion quietly and to yourself, if at all. They put them in a line and they shot them all. Gah, 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 gah. And then they took some Chinese people from somewhere else. Like, hey, we got all this great farmland up here. We just fertilized it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
yeah,
the-
they what did they do back during Occupy Wall Street?
Oh, I
There
love
was-
Occupy Democrats logic. Those
Oh.
fucking Occupy Democrats people. It
Well,
is a disease.
There was an
There should be
attempted
Democrats
over-
Anonymous.
over no Democrats Anonymous. Over in China, they
It's
had
been
they
30
tried to do
days
it.
since I argued for something retarded that had no basis in facts.
True that.
You're
But
saying
yeah.
Occupy, yeah,
Yeah,
in Wall Street. You were saying Occupy, that fucking
Uh,
Occupy Democrats bullshit in Wall Street. What did they do?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Something
Yeah,
about
that's how
China.
memorable their fucking protest was, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean, somebody said something to me the other day. They were like, if they'd really wanted to do something about the system, they wouldn't have just sat out front of the bank. They would have gone in, stood in line, and then kept applying for loan after loan after loan after loan. Except, as much as they're against capitalism, all of those leftist assholes didn't want to ruin their credit ratings, their fucking student loans, right? Because it dings your credit score every time you try, but it fucking holds
I
the
was
bank
all
up.
about doing those types of like real direct action, right?
Real
Like,
direct action.
That would have been awesome. That would.
Yeah, but that direct action doesn't achieve fuck all. You need to unify against behind a candidate who is actually a proponent for change.
Activists get pissed off when I say this because I consider myself to be an activist, but I always say that the protesting, the rah-rah-rahing, that's one cog in a massive, complex box that you need to pull off all at once in order to accomplish real change. It's not just about like going out and raising awareness and doing a rally and having a protest and then patting yourselves on the back and going home in
My-
time for lunch.
My
It's not
favorite
about that. You have to like take the momentum and like push it.
move stuff. You have to actually do stuff. Your awareness. People seem to. I raised my awareness. Ezra Levant calls a fucking woman out in the beginning of his Ezra show on that. It's part of the thing where he's at one of those rallies and there's some like just like the whitest, most suburban woman you've ever seen. Probably has a stick family on her soccer van or like or
Yep.
whatever. Now I drive a caravan, but I mean like I just. Fucking and it was like, you come out here once a year with a sign and then you feel morally superior to me, and there's just a short clip of it or whatever, right? But the best sign I ever saw at a protest, some guy was out at this protest, he brought his own sign and it said, "What do we want? A cure for Tourette's. When do we want it, cunt?"
Oh my god. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
It was good. It was good. There was fucking layers. There was a good one. The okay. So after the protesters started showing up, and this is why the right is funny. They started showing up to protest Milo and his university
Yeah.
tours, right? To the point where some leftist asshole attacked somebody from the right and was like attacking them, and then guy pulled out his gun because he had a concealed carry permit and shot this dude.
Oh my
He was
god.
in fear for his life. No, he got off fine. Witnesses and everything were like,
Oh.
yeah, this leftist guy was fucking attacking this guy for no reason. He was just there and he fucking. So he defended himself. Like, you've seen all the videos of
Mhm.
these crazy assholes just beating people while they're unconscious at this point in time.
Yep.
Fuck it. Fuck it. Right?
Well, you shouldn't be attacking them. So
Yeah. So, but even after this incident, more people started showing up from the right side to help fucking protect the people trying to get into the Milo thing. Not specifically at that one, but at a bunch of these after this, right?
right.
So they're showing footage from outside. One of the things where, one of the things that the left likes to do is deplatform people from the right. So this guy has brought like 10 fucking support Milo signs, and he's got them all folded up under his jacket, because every time he pulls one out and holds it up for their side of things, somebody from the right like jumps over his back, or two people will jump him and grab his sign and rip it up, right?
Wow.
And fucking, so by the end of this though, because he's seen them do this other things, his signs say shit like, I have one more sign and stuff like that, and they are still just losing their shit, basically assaulting him to fucking tear up these signs. He's just gone to the dollar store with like Manila tag cardboard and written it, you know, because that's where actual protest signs come from. I want to know where a bunch of fucking college students managed to organize a nationwide sign printing initiative for their like, do you see the fucking shields the anti-fa guys carry? You know, the riot shield that the anti-fascist guys carry.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did they get those?
Well, they get it from they get access
From
to
George
military.
Soros. They get it from George Soros is where they get that shit from, because he funds that assholes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's a website where you go and email George Soros and he sends you a shield with his face on it.
No,
but I
there's
mean,
subsidiary companies and whatnot.
They busted fight clubs on college campuses run by the anti-fascist people, trying to teach them how to beat up fucking people they disagreed with. You didn't hear
That's
about
so
that?
fucked.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that? What I find hilarious is even with the fight clubs, those fuckers still can't even throw a decent-looking punch. Like, Gavin McInnes got pepper sprayed, and then his Proud Boy crowd just started bashing heads in fucking New York, right?
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, to the point where fucking Proud Boy Sal, who's a Cuban immigrant who is a total conservative. You have to remember that Obama took away the landed immigrant thing for Cubans right before he went out of office. It used to be if you were a Cuban and you made it to American soil because of the embargoes and everything, then you were considered an American citizen, right? So Obama took that away so that people can get deported back to Cuba, where they'll probably be, I don't know, gulagged. I don't know if that's the Cuban term for political prison where you die. Yeah. So fucking this Sal guy who's like way bigger than all these leftists, fucking Gavin McInnes gets pepper sprayed, and he just turns and fucking straight arms three of them over and starts throwing weights into the crowd of them and starts bashing fucking leftist heads in.
Wow.
Well, they've already pepper sprayed them and
Yeah.
fucking
No, yeah.
cheap shotted people.
At that point.
At this point in
What
time,
else are you gonna
this
do?
is their favorite thing to do now, is take pepper spray and then reach through a crowd of people where you can't see it while you're walking through and just blast people in the fucking face and pull back. They did it to that girl, that blonde girl, this like blonde conservative college girl who's just talking about freedom of speech, and fucking Buddy reached over like what looks like bear mace fucking over people's shoulders and just nails her in the face, and then fucking the same protest, somebody else punched her in the face, because that's what they're doing on the left, is they're telling they're pointing this out in the black bloc thing, how they dress up for these black blocs to all look the same.
Yeah.
Right? And then at the Trump inauguration, this fucking woman got up in this dude's face and fucking like pushes this dude and everything like that, and he hauls off and punches her. She's wearing a balaclava and is done up like a guy in fucking vigilante gear. And then she pulls her mask down at this point. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. He goes, well, you don't look like a fucking woman. And she tries to take another swing, and he knocks her down again and like fights his way through. He's one guy surrounded by all these people with flagpoles and all of this vigilante gear, wearing masks.
I believe the Black Bloc are government. They're agent provocateurs, I believe.
They're George Soros provocateurs.
They always show up everywhere.
Have you not Googled them? They're funded.
Yeah.
For being anti-fascist, anti-capitalists, they're funded. You know that they got in trouble because it was found out that administrators and teachers were members of these black blocs in some of these areas. Oh, yeah, teachers were organizing these black blocs in some places.
I've been to rallies. I've organized rallies myself where there's people who like they're definitely not. They try to come off as they're just like crazy like people. They try to like hijack the meeting or the rally, but you can just tell that they're a lot more organized than a normal. Because I've had my experience with like crazy, legitimate crazy rambling people. They're not crazy, but you know what I mean, where they're just like, they're one person, so you know how to handle them. Yeah. But you get these really organized ones that are trying to portray that.
Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, pretty
much. It's like organized.
Yeah.
And suddenly he's seizing emergency powers for the fucking Senate, right? Which is what Angela Merkel is working towards.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well,
that's what I believe.
As soon as France leaves, fucking
Germany's always around, eh? Like, you ever notice that? Like,
they can't help themselves but try and conquer Europe. Right?
They basically financially have the entire European Union by the balls right now. Like, the European Union economy is Germany.
Oh, well, because Brexit left and France is collapsing, and that's why Marie Le Pen. Oh, I love that. Le Pen is mightier than the sword. She's gonna win, hey? She's a classy
She's probably
lady.
going to win.
Have you watched her campaign ads?
I didn't even know that she existed until you brought her up when we were talking.
Oh
But
my God.
I've
you
started
gotta
to
look
notice her
outside
now.
in Nanaimo. You gotta look outside.
No,
in
I'm very well. I follow news and I follow current events.
Has it been a
rather
very
closely.
slow, like red pilling for you? I'm gonna have to show you. I'm gonna have to teach you the difference between nationalism and fascism because it gets dangerous at this point. Then you get drug in with the wrong groups, and then people are fucking calling you a Nazi.
Oh no! I get caught a lot of things. You should hear me go off about like me and you with Israel and Palestine there last week.
Yeah. Aren't you the anti-Israel one?
I'm anti-Israel.
Yeah, I think
but
you've been brainwashed
but
a little bit, buddy.
no,
No.
I've
Shit.
I've done my research and whatnot.
Didn't you watch the
but I'm
video on
independent.
White shame?
Yeah.
Didn't we watch that together just now? About
Yeah.
how you shouldn't feel guilty breaking
I don't
a few
feel
eggs?
guilty. I don't.
You know,
dude,
when you
my
build a great
my
nation?
issue with Israel is the fact that I grew up in a military family, and both of my parents served in the Canadian Forces, and both of my parents have served overseas in bullshit wars that were basically wouldn't be going on if Israel would just mind its own fucking business and stop being an aggressor towards Palestine.
Israel needs to mind its own fucking business.
It needs to back the fuck off. It needs to
get on this again.
Oh, I know. I didn't even want to.
Do I need to bring up the 6-Day War? Do I need to bring up 4 wars of aggression waged by the fucking?
I want to talk. We need to talk about right now. And yes, not. Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
Bibi Netanyahu.
Because the past is not so.
It's important to study how we got there.
You have
but
to
it's
remember
in a
that
crisis
between
right now.
some of those wars that the Arab nations waged, they waited 10 or 12 years to intentionally lull Israel into a false state of like that's what the Yom Kippur War was. They had 12 years of doing nothing or 10 years of doing nothing, and then attacked them on their holiest holiday.
I'm not saying that Palestine or the various groups that have run Palestine over the decades are saints. I'm not saying that at all. As a matter of fact, I'm relatively anti-Palestinian Authority and a boss right now as well. Only because I do not believe that they do not do a service to the people on the ground. When I say that I support Palestine,
if you stop identifying them as Palestinians and start identifying them as the victims of a war,
that's exactly
that might
what
be a little bit better because the Palestinian people have had their fucking. But it doesn't.
That's who I support.
How
I support
fucking,
the people.
How
of
does it
Palestine.
help anybody when we send $25 million over to fucking a charity for Palestinian people that immediately co-ops the money and then uses it to disseminate hate material against Jews? That's why they. That's why
I can't argue that. I can't argue that. I can't argue that. But what I can say as a rebuttal is the fact that Canada is in the country of Canada, the nation of Canada, the government of Canada sends aid money to Israel all the time that ends up going into the IDF, which is used to bulldoze communities and kill people.
This might be a dumbing down of the situation, but so you're a neighbor on one side, and there's a neighbor on the other side, right? And you look out your fucking door, your window the one day, and you've got kids, and the neighbor's got kids, and you see the neighbor's kid out there just like stabbing a squirrel to death, lighting it on fire, right? You build a taller fence.
Yeah, absolutely.
You tell your kid not to
There's
go and play with the
that.
squirrel stabbing kid. So how come when Israel built a wall and said they didn't want a bunch of fucking stabby kids running around?
Put your money into national defense. There's nothing wrong with that. But
They
then
did. They built a wall.
however,
They built
using
a
your
national
same
defense
argument,
wall.
using your same
National
argument,
defense wall.
the neighbor, you're then taking it one step further, and after you're done building your really high fence, now you're going to say, yeah, fuck these guys, and I'm going to go over my fence and take half of your yard because I don't trust you.
Well,
you can't do that.
Is the squirrel tree in the yard?
You can't do that.
If the squirrel tree is in the yard, I think I feel obligated to protect the squirrel environment.
But you can't
really?
take someone. You just can't do it.
Oh, okay. So what we're gonna do is
you can do it because they did do it.
Yeah, it worked really well. So you're saying
Well, no, not
so
for the
you've
people
got
of Palestine.
you've got a resource-rich area, and you
Right.
keep exploiting those resources to feed and buy suicide bombs.
What
and create
resources?
Suicide
They don't
bombers.
get any resources.
Oh, they used to. They gave them all up when they waged
No,
fucking
there's
some
a
shitty wars
massive
they lost.
blockade on Gaza to a point where people are like starving and they don't even have fresh
I
water.
am
They have
talking
nothing.
about before when they owned Gaza. They used to own that area.
When the Palestinian Authority, this is before Hamas got elected.
Yeah, I'm talking about back when they lost all their land in their wars of aggression they waged.
Oh my! For starters,
For starters,
Jews and Arabs lived coexisted for a long, long time in that territory
right?
of Palestine.
Yeah,
For starters,
yeah, no.
so it's just a matter for.
No.
It was a matter of Zionist. It's Zionism.
It's
actually.
Zionist. Did we not? Did we not watch the mosque video earlier where a mosque in Toronto was calling for the extermination of the Druze?
Zionism is a political movement. That is bullshit. What we watched there is complete bullshit. I think that.
Oh, you want me to get other sources? Do I need more citation?
Whoa! See, you think way too defensively. I said it's bullshit in the sense of the article that they covered.
Oh.
Yeah.
I should have brought up
Like,
the earlier one
the-
that had the 3 different videos
the-
of 2 different imams.
Yeah, these people should not be able to go and say things like that about Jews or about or shouldn't be preaching any sort of hate.
Well, maybe they
I don't
should've-
believe in any religion.
Maybe Bill
preaching hate.
M103 in Canada should have been written to defend more than just the Muslims then. You know?
That
What?
yeah.
What? I wish I could microphone. No, that Rex microphone.
No, you're preaching to the choir on that one.
Like, I mean, so yeah.
See, I feel like sometimes when we debate, because I truly am an independent, I have left views, I have right views, and quite frankly, I'm pissed off at both sides. And,
Oh,
and
dude,
think that
I don't agree with the Jews on a bunch of stuff.
it's not
but,
the Jews though; it's
you
the
know,
Zionists. There's nothing. This
yeah,
is not
the
like
Zionists then,
I
right?
have very good friends who are Jewish.
You know, I love.
It's-
But, okay,
I have
so
no
check it out.
problem with the
I-
religion
I
of
probably-
Judaism.
on the individual whole, I'm pretty sure I can get along with an individual Muslim, an individual Palestinian, or whatever, right?
Mhm.
But if you've got problems in your country with your government, look what they did in the States when they didn't like the way things were going. Despite being punched in the face, having their hair lit on fire, and things thrown at them, people came out in droves, voted for Donald Trump for a change in government because they were sick of the way fucking things were going. Right?
Absolutely.
So if you're sick of the way things are going in your country, stop fleeing to other countries in droves to make them a shithole. Rise up against your own fucking government.
I
Break a
don't
few
disagree
eggs.
with you.
I mean, the American Civil War, 650,000 people gave their lives for a change of venue.
If there was a similar situation in Canada where we had to fight for our freedom, I would in a heartbeat defend my my country or Vancouver Island or what. I would do that. However, if someone else has a family and they just want to get out with their family or whatever their reasoning is, I mean, it's not
so
my,
if you
it's
wanna
not
get
my
out
place
with
to
your
judge
family,
them.
that's
It's
fine.
an individual
That's
decision.
fine, but don't bring your bigoted, shitty, hateful way of life here and then tell us we all have to change. Right?
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you there.
You know, and also if it's about getting people out of a war zone, let's talk about 6,000 Yazidi Christians.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about that? You agreed with me on that.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Edward Levant just got a Bible from the Yazidi region in a city that was a Christian holdout,
Yep.
right? And they were lived peacefully there since fucking Judaic, like
Keep in mind,
Aramaic
we were talking
times.
about Palestine. Now we're talking about the Islamic State. The Islamic State is pure evil on a Nazi level. I believe they have the potential to get to that point, and they need
yeah.
to be fucking
Well, then
crushed.
I think
We
what
need
you
to
should do-
go balls deep and destroy fucking ISIS,
All right,
but as separate
I
from
wanna
Palestine.
hash this out then. I think what we both agree on there, right, is that the people of the Middle East have been shit on by religious doctrines, right?
Several religious
Yes,
doctrines.
several religious doctrines. Now, I think where we disagree is that
And political movements too, because
the
Zionism
world-
is a political movement, like Hamas is a
yeah,
political
but
movement.
so we look back at ancient Europe where they had things like the 100 Years' War. The 100 Years' War went on partially because you couldn't fight wars in the winter back then,
Yeah.
right? But people didn't forget shit so quickly back then, right? So just because Israel is not willing to forget shit that happened to them in the 70s, and they're not willing to forget all the terrorist attacks of the 80s and early 90s, and even though it's been fucking years since they put their wall up and stuff, they still have a pretty aggressive stance
If
on those
they
nations.
would stop bulldozing communities and expanding into the occupied territories, it wouldn't be like that. Just go back to the original borders.
So can't we tell the Muslims to stop expanding into Calais and fucking setting up camps there? Can't they go back to their
once
original
again,
borders?
once again, Palestine, and I believe we're talking here about the Islamic State, are we not?
In general, the Islamic State of Israel. Now, you understand that Israel, Syria, Palestine, they're all neighbors?
Yeah,
Geographically,
yes,
what
it's called,
happens
it's called
to
the Middle
neighbor
East.
affects
Yep,
the other.
but
the
but,
others,
but it's very
right?
important that we talk about them as separate issues
Okay, yeah,
because
but
the
what I'm
Islamic State
saying-
is pure terrorism.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. So what I'm saying is, how come the Israeli people don't have the right to expand their culture? Right.
They do have the right to. They should expand their culture. They should
Don't-
embrace their culture. They have a
Right.
beautiful culture with a
You
rich
know.
history, and they deserve to exist in the Middle East. Israel deserves to
Okay,
exist in the Middle
okay,
East.
let me put
What
it
I'm
this
talking to
way.
you is the occupied territories.
Ah, okay. So, what about in a city sense? Like, don't you believe in gentrification in the sense of Harewood? Like, can't people with more money and means come in, get rid of like a place like King Arthur's Court, and then build something nice? Right.
A lot of people, myself
So-
included, wish they could.
Yeah, so now let's expand that to an entire community. So we've got a bunch of people living in ramshackle metal shacks farming goats, and then you're like, look, I want to come in and build like
But
an actual
if
city
you want
here.
to talk about expanding and advancing and evolving culture, if you allowed them to do that, then they would do that. Do you think they want to live in squalor like that? These aren't people who like these aren't like cave dwelling Bohemians
Oh, I don't
or
think
whatever.
they want to live in squalor, but
No.
you have people.
But there's
from
a
the-
blockade
here's-
on their
here's the-
borders, not allowing
here's the-
even bare essentials to get
because
through, let
every
alone
time
building
they
supplies.
let something in, they make. Do you remember the tunnels they shut down?
Yes.
The dug under tunnels that were being used to funnel missiles in.
And they're also being used to funnel in food.
food,
Name a
because they-
missile.
but-
Name a missile that was a. Sorry, my bad. My bad. Sorry, everybody. Name a missile. Hey. Okay. Name a missile that has ever been shot from Palestine to Israel that has actually. No. I'm not done. That has actually been effective.
It's effective at
the
causing
military.
terror. It's effective at causing terror.
Okay, so basically,
You fucking explain
some
to your
idiot,
kids. You
some
explain
idiot
to your
from
kids.
Hamas, some idiot from Hamas makes a really shitty IED or fucking shitty tin can rocket, shoots it across that wall, and causes $1,000 worth of damage. And it's yes, it does, and it is terrorism. By the way, I'm not justifying it. It is terrorism. It is
I
100%
always like to
terrorism.
break
But
this
then
down to,
Israel
like-
responds by like leveling an entire building
Here's the fucking
or an
thing.
entire community or
let me
killing
break
a
it
bunch of
down.
fucking civilians.
Let me break it down from like the larger country sense, and let's just break it down to the neighbors analogy again. So, I got my kids playing in my backyard, and the neighbors are fucking over there playing with M80s, right? And they're ineffective, but they fucking toss M80s over my fence, right? The chances of them hitting my kid aren't very high, but I'm gonna be fucking pissed
Of
off.
course, and you
if
should
I
be
go over
pissed.
there and knock out every single fucking person on that side of the fence, and then if they don't stop tossing shit over my fence, lighting my yard on fire, being fucking assholes as neighbors. I mean, up in Dawson Creek, a bunch of guys got together when these people weren't home and burnt the crack house down because they were sick of them selling drugs to their children. So when we expand that up to a country sense, where you just won't put up with shit from your fucking neighbors anymore and you don't want to hear it,
I
You-
I
you
agree with
know?
that. Just because they should be pissed and they should respond. However, using the neighbor analogy again, it's like, what would happen if I go over to my neighbor's house and I'm like, hey,
co-opt his pool. I call it Johio.
No,
in the state of Pretoria.
right?
Yeah.
Well, basically, let's say I have a problem with my neighbor, and we go and we have a fist fight, and I
Yeah.
punch him in the face,
Yeah.
and then I go back to my house, and then he comes over to the house with a gun and shoots my wife, and then walks back. That's basically Palestine and Israel.
Actually, if the neighbor was Palestinian, he wouldn't shoot your wife. He'd rape your wife in front of you and then slit your throat.
No, but we're talking about neighbors.
Yeah, I know, but if your neighbor was Palestine, there's. I'm just going off of the videos I see on the internet and what it says in their book about how to deal with infidels.
Look,
there's like literally.
I'm not saying that there are terrorists in Palestine, obviously, but at the same time, there are also people who are trying to fight. And I also believe the IDF and the Israeli military, they are also terrorists. And I believe their government, the Zionists, and once again, I have nothing against the Jews. I actually love that religion. Zionism is basically the Tea Party movement, or what people consider the Tea Party movement in the United States to be of conservatism. They're extremists.
Yeah.
That's basically my issue, and they've been like that since after World War I. I mean, the country it's European Zionists. That's Israel. It's not even Israelis.
Yeah. So it's definitely the government.
That's how it started,
Like,
sorry.
I mean, you can never blame the individual people,
No.
but.
A lot
You
of
have
there's
to
a lot of
take
civilians in Israel who are actually
precautions.
against their government.
Like,
for
I
this
mean,
reason.
the one thing we can't argue about though is that the rate of terrorism in Israel since they stopped letting people fucking in and out and
Yep.
letting so you see that was the problem. The problem with the tunnels and stuff is like they were letting food in. They were letting food in.
They
The
had
problem
to.
is they would fucking bury rockets and weapons in these food, and they proved it. They fucking proved it.
Well, that's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate, after effect of having terrorism in the region or terrorists in the region. Yes, they're going to take advantage of those tunnels to smuggle in food or to smuggle in
So-
weapons. Really crappy, shitty weapons, but weapons nonetheless. Your
actually,
point
those-
remains the same. Your point is,
Yeah.
you still
What
make a good
about
point.
setting up the rocket batteries on top of apartment
But when
buildings
they're not
and
even
shit?
letting in, but their infrastructure compared to Israel's is so they have nothing. Israel could, if they wanted to, they could go in and just fucking pave over them. They could crush
could,
them. Israel
yeah.
has nuclear capabilities.
Oh,
they could
they
do
have.
whatever they
had
want.
nukes up on the fucking
only-
thing. The
the only-
last time that Palestine, Syria, and all that shit attacked them in the '60s, they had the nukes up on the thing because
Well,
they were worried they were going to put. But
The,
that's back
the
when
only
they had
reason
the
why
funding.
Israel hasn't completely annexed and destroyed Palestine is because of international pressure. Mainly
yeah.
from the United States and also from Russia
I mean,
and
hey,
other
let's talk
countries.
about international
But now that Trump
pressure.
has been elected, Netanyahu and Trump is very supportive of Israel.
Fuck yeah, he is.
They just went into the West Bank, which is unheard of because the West Bank is relative, like compared to
Because he
Gaza,
promised-
it's relatively peaceful. Like
Yeah.
it's not peaceful, but it's a lot better than what it is in Gaza. But Bibi or Netanyahu went and sent in the bulldozers and bulldozed an entire fucking
Israeli settlement. Yeah. A little bit of give and take there. You know what part of it is?
But who's fucking
Who's in charge-
suffering?
who's
This
in
is a
char-
political
who's in
game being
charge of
paid
the-
by these
the-
assholes in the
yeah,
Palestinian
okay, so
Authority, these assholes in the Israeli.
Let's kick it up. Let's go back to the neighbor analogy a little bit and then kick it
The
up. So
person
we're talking
suffers.
about two neighbors there that are fighting about shit. So you're the good neighbor and you've got a neighbor coming over and wrecking your shit all the time, and then you call the cops, right? And the cops will say the UN, like who's the UN Security Council fucking led by, they show up and then they tell you that they're going to charge you with harassment, right? Because you told your neighbor to fuck off and stuff like that. And you're like, officer, my yard's all fucked up, everything like that. And they're like, nah, because that's what the UN has continually done to fucking Israel. And then they keep passing anti-Israeli bills and shit like that. Like, we all agree that if we want to calm down in the Middle East there, somebody has to maybe do something about the Muslim terrorist problem. But, like, I still haven't got a chance to show you the fucking videos from Israeli Sesame Street where the translation is go and stab Jews and shit like that.
Like I said, propaganda. I'm not denying that any of this stuff exists.
So if you don't want Israel to deal with the problem, then maybe the Security Council of the UN should stop telling them that they're out on their own and that they are the bad. Because when you're told you're fucking all alone over there and that the UN's not going to help you.
Because nobody morally supports what they're doing to the Palestinians and the people who are
Because the Security
suffering.
Council is led by some of the worst
We're talking
violators
the
of human
UN
rights.
General Assembly even voted to make Palestine to recognize it as a state.
And you know that Palestinians
Which caused a lot of unnecessary,
Do you know that
a lot of shit.
Palestinians are the only people that get refugee status after their second generation have moved out of their country? Oh, you didn't know about that? Okay, so refugee status ends for the children of refugees who were born in another country, right?
Right.
Not for Palestinians. There's a special exemption in UN law. That's why the numbers for Palestinian refugees are still so high. You didn't know about that?
Maybe they're so high is
Oh, would you
because
like
they
me to
don't.
Google it?
I don't.
Would you like
it's
me to Google it?
irrelevant. It's
No,
irrelevant.
it's not irrelevant. It's more relevant than ever. Right?
They are living. I
just
would.
like those
If I was
violations.
unfortunate enough to be spawned in Palestine, I'd be trying to spend every waking hour I could get to get the fuck out of that country too, and to be a refugee.
I need to get the exact wording on this because technically, like, so if my parents were, say, Jewish refugees from Germany, and then they came to Canada, and then I was born in Canada, right? I do not get refugee status, right?
I'm not saying it's right for you
No,
for
no,
that
no,
person, but
no. That's the way it works because you're fucking. What did I refugee from? My parents were refugees. I was born in Canada. I'm a fucking Canadian, right?
right, that
It's
makes
different.
sense to me.
There is a UN exception on Palestinians that fucking lists the children of Palestinians born outside of Palestine in other countries
But
as
that's fine.
refugees. No, it's not.
Well, okay, let's kill all the
If all men are-
Palestinians. Then.
no,
They're
no,
getting more
no.
benefits.
It's either everyone's fucking equal or we're not.
I do agree with that.
Oh, so what? We get special exemptions. It's
I
either
agree with
racism.
that.
It's either
I-
racism.
I agree, but at the same time, I don't really think it changes the argument at all. Like it doesn't. It has nothing to do with the actual reality on the ground in the Middle East.
It doesn't change the fucking argument that the UN is intentionally fueling this bullshit over
I
there.
100% agree with
Because
that.
when you change the law for a specific group of people, so you can specifically buff the numbers on the amount of
hey,
refugees.
I'll flip for a second right now, and I'll just look at it from the other point of view. I do believe 100% that the Palestinian Authority certainly they stand to benefit a hell of a lot more with a continued fucking war and having Israel as the fucking enemy throughout this whole thing so that they can continue to get their fucking money and all their fucking kickbacks. The Palestinian Authority, in my opinion, are just as bad as Israel, essentially. They don't have the best benefit of their politicians. Politicians usually don't have the best interest of people.
I guess my main thing too, and like Ezra was saying this the other night too. Like, what is wrong with having fucking Asia for Asians, Canada for Canadians,
I don't think
Europe
there's
for
anything wrong with that.
Europeans, African for Africa, Africa for Africans, and our values in those fucking areas, right? So there's an entire Middle East, and then there's tiny little Israel, and if all the rest of the Middle East are 100% Muslim countries with that already live under the Sharia law that they want to drag to all the European countries and shit, why aren't these places utopias that these people want to go and live in? Like Saudi Arabia is 100% fucking. They have a fucking forest of tents and shit like that they won't let their own people come and stay in. They are Muslims, right? And if it's all a religion of peace and love and helping your brother, why aren't they taking these fucking people in?
Well, I think you kind of nailed it a minute ago where you were like, continents for like certain like Asia for Asia, Africa for Africa, whatever. I mean, they
So, in the spirit of nationalism, I'm not talking about a racial nationalism. I'm talking about a country nationalism, right? Where shouldn't it be the fucking the Islamic states? And I'm not talking about the Islamic State of Terror, the Islamic State of Israel and Syria. I'm talking about the Muslim Brotherhood, that Islamic coalition of nations, the one you might as well call them the fucking OPEC oil nations or whatever the shit. Shouldn't it be their responsibility to look inward at their own people who apparently they understand?
Yes.
And fucking deal with it.
Yes, they should, but
Right?
but the reason why we as Western countries don't really hold them accountable as we should is basically because they have oil, they have natural resources. This is the reality of the situation, and it fucking sucks. I'm not justifying or saying it's good or whatever, but that's why we let these fucking countries get away with murder, and that's why there are, like, get away with murder as a figure of speech, but also literally, and that's what happens.
Gee, I need to have somebody who can.
Hey, actually,
I just had to get remind. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Sorry, I got an update from the chat thing.
oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. I went. I was like, somebody left the chat. I was like, was it because of the political talk? And he was just, yeah. It was not because of the political talk. But I mean, yeah, honestly, it should be national solutions for these problems. Like Canada should be spending Canadian money to solve Canadian fucking problems.
Absolutely.
Right? Not the world's problems. Right?
I 100%
That's
agree
what
with
Trump is trying to do, and people are calling him fucking out on it. Like, there's not an obligation for a country 5 countries over to accept fucking refugees.
No.
Right?
I mean, I believe that there is a human obligation or a moral obligation, but that's my opinion. My one opinion.
Okay, so I'd like to actually use that analogy again. We are on the Titanic, and we have a lifeboat. That lifeboat holds fucking 30 people.
Right.
Right? And there are refugees from the freezing water who want to climb onto our lifeboat. But if we let on 2 more refugees, 1 more refugee, the lifeboat's already fucking at capacity. It's going to fucking capsize, and we're all going to end up freezing and dying in the water. Do we have a moral obligation to let those refugees onto the boat?
That sounds like a real world survival situation that probably happens quite regularly.
How is the sovereignty of our nation not a real world survival
because
situation?
taking on some refugees isn't going to lead to the destruction of Canada and the sinking of our ship.
Oh,
no, we will survive.
Oh.
We will survive.
I really need someone who can pull some shit up here. Oh, I gotta get a tech guy. Well,
like if it's a matter if it was like we can't take in 1 more refugee, find me the number of of the tipping point.
Someone ordered pizza. In
I
here
know it smells so good.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, the tipping point. Tell me at that point, and then I will agree that we shouldn't take in refugees. When you can show me that this will break the bank. This will make Canada just go away.
I'm not a lifeboat engineer.
That's
but
fair.
I think that we have some fucking a litmus test with Sweden, which is at the breaking point. Are you not following Sweden? Oh my God. Have you not seen the video of the dude filming the chick, calling the cops, reporting the rape, and laughing and going, I just raped you. They're not going to do anything. Oh, what?
That's fucked.
Oh, all the unreported. Yeah, do you not know?
That's like one.
Did you not know
that's
Sweden?
a really fucked up example.
Oh, do you not
know?
Do you not know Sweden's? Oh no, you can see the video. Go to the Rebel. Oh no, actually no. You want the Paul Joseph Watson? What's happening in Sweden right now?
Is that the Infowars guy?
No. Well, yeah, he does. He is sponsored by Infowars, but Paul Joseph Watson's fucking shit. I mean, hey, you don't make that face when you talk about Infowars. That's a simple water filtration salesman who helped change the course of the presidential election.
I've been following the Infowars since 2002, and you know, this brings up a really good point, actually, Tyson. I was going for a walk the other day, and I felt my arthritis was kicking in. So I checked out these great new titanium alloy pills that I took by sunlifenaturals.com.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. And you go to sunlifenaturals.com, and they have a really good product. They've been advertising on Alex Jones for 12 years now, and he really stands by it, and so do I, as a wager of the Infowars.
You were taking the titanium pills, Jesus.
I made that up.
You should.
Is that even a real website?
I don't know, dude. He does sell supplements. I've thought about trying his supplements. I take ones from Popeye right now.
I got drunk a couple years ago, and I changed my voicemail to an Alex Jones parody that was like 6 minutes long about
Jesus.
just an Alex, like, yeah, you know, folks, and I don't even remember doing it, but
I was fucking high one time when I changed my voicemail to like a sensual sex call-in line, like commercial. Like I'm sitting here in the dark thinking, and then the first person to call and get my voicemail was my grandma.
oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, so this was funny. I used to live in the group homes, and my fucking girlfriend also lived in a group home in Duncan, an opposite one for girls. And they would unplug the phone line because there was a kids line that was separate from the adult line. You know, when social services was calling or when it was just the kids bullshit calling in.
Right.
And so when they would unplug it, it would automatically go to the voicemail box system, and so you could leave voicemails. And so I got out of the group home system a couple years, like a year before my girlfriend. So I was living in an apartment. Many of my friends would get fucking high at night or just drunk, fucked up on ketamine, whatever.
Yep.
And we started this thing where we would call the girls' group home after we knew they'd unplug the phone, because it would let us go right to the voicemail boxes. And we would just, when they pick up, scream loudly into the phone and hang up. Breathe for long periods of time, not saying anything. Put porn on the computer, hold the receiver up to the porn with it on really loud for about 30 seconds and hang up. Just whatever we could think of, right?
Right.
And we did this for like a year, just funnily, not realizing how little women actually talk to each other, because I don't like men are like, dude, seriously, you know what happened? Like, just say the most grossly honest shit. Like, you know, I farted so hard it made me snot. Just like weird shit. They will tell their buddies stuff like this, right? But women apparently keep their shit in a little bit.
Oh, so they're probably all terrified individually.
My girlfriend gets a night pass to stay over at my place like a year later the one time, and we're fucking high as fuck, and it's like fucking midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. We're all trying. I'm like, oh, you know what we need to do? Let's go to the group home and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what? That's you fucking guys? She's like, we've been terrified.
Oh my god! Because like you'd think if they had to talk to each other, then it would have been like, oh, okay.
Oh my god, yeah. Like I don't know why she didn't tell me that someone was calling and leaving her weird phone message.
Right?
Like when she's like, I mean, if she really, I think if they talked to each other and she'd realized it was going on to everybody, she'd be like, oh, that's a Tyson thing.
Mm-hmm.
I see the depths
That's
of
hilarious.
I love those ongoing psychological thrillers like that. I've done dark shit. I tell you about the 6 or so years I spent making my mom think every single bathroom door we had in our house was broken, like across like 5 different houses we lived in.
What?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I was like a vindictive kid, so I'd do passive aggressive shit. She'd piss me off about something, so she'd go pee, and I'd sneak up the hall. And I've been quite a bit bigger than like her since I was like 13.
Yeah.
And and I'm pretty quiet for a big dude. Probably from all the sneaking I did as a teenager. Fucking grab the door handle and just brace myself. And then she'd try and get out of the bathroom after peeing and try and get out. And then you'd feel the moment when she'd let go of the handle and throw her arm up in frustration. That's when you let go of the handle and you got to get back down the hall really quick and sit back on the couch. And then she'd open the door and she'd come back out. I fucking thought I told your dad to fix that fucking thing. Right? So, like, after he went to go and buy a new door handle the one time, and I had to come clean with him. I'm like, Dad, the door handles aren't broken. This is what I do, because sometimes she makes me mad, and so how I get back at her. Right?
That is fucking awesome.
Yeah. I was like, so stop fixing door handles. By the way, I'm not going to stop. Yeah, we lived in multiple houses. Fucking, yeah. I told her long after I'd moved out.
I'm gonna use that someday.
It was years. It was years of like very careful psychological training and fucking.
It's like psychological warfare.
Oh yeah. It's just fucking because she thought she was insane. My dad said, I fixed that door. It never happens to me. It never happens. Are you just like you don't know how to use a door handle? And then I don't know.
At one point does she start to wonder, does she know how to use a door handle?
Oh yeah, and
start second guessing herself.
I love my mom, but she's pretty easy to troll sometimes. She's one of the I've trolled her pretty bad in the past. Just
God bless her. That is
she gets really stoned, and then you can say really ridiculous shit to her.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
She's called the show before.
Yeah. She literally called me live on the show to just be like, "Hello." Oh my god, I forgot to message her back. She was asking me about what song best describes her, and I'll have to stop dead to really put the thought into that question. I don't want to be rude to my mom, but I can't just stop the podcast while I think retrospectively for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
to answer.
You want to give her a good answer.
It's for a class she's doing. She's in her 50s. She takes a lot of classes
Oh, nice.
for a full-grown adult.
Nice.
It has been for many years. It's a Bachelor of Life degree.
Oh.
It's a
The Facts of Life theme song just popped in my head for some reason. Well, I got to run though, unfortunately.
No, we have to do the draw.
Oh yes, my bad.
You're bad at fucking gingers.
I know.
Seriously, do the gingerbread man thing for Halloween.
That'd be freaking hilarious.
Yeah, man, just run around and whip bread at people. But not homeless people. They have bread.
Yeah. Well, I'll give them bag bread afterwards.
I'll give them bread. Oh, I
like
meant full loaves.
unused-
It's so cheap. You need a
It's
big
like
sack.
unused. Oh.
I mean, like a big sack of bread. I mean, like, you need to go and get like 50 loaves. That's going to be the expense because you don't need any other content. You need
No.
nothing else but the sack of bread to be a
Just a sack of
gingerbread
bread.
man.
Yeah, I'm already
Yeah.
the ginger.
Yeah, so $50
Some
on
bre-
bread. Like, you go get that $1 bread. Like, you need a big sack that you
It's a
can't even
fucking
really
bread
lift
bed.
up for the first little bit.
Do you think the bars would let me like walk down with like a pallet jack and like just one of those pallets of bread
Oh,
that they have?
I think that each
Just
bar
sweet.
is unique and different. Try and
That's
pick a
true.
good one. All right, here it goes.
Red of draw.
Yeah, it's random. One ticket. One ticket. One ticket to rule them all.
Dun dun dun.
I think I recognize this number. Let me see. I don't want to say their number live on the thing. Actually, I put the number up on the thing the last time. It's a raffle. But other people might look in. Here's what I have to do. I have to read out the number on the front. I'm such a fucking stoner. Whatever. That's the whole point of this thing. The winning ticket number is, they're like, just fucking get to it. 10. That's what they all start with. 75. I don't even think they start to change until after that. 421. Really close to 420.
That's extremely close.
1075421. I'm going to put that up in the chat. I'm going to put that up on the Facebook. And when I hear back from the winner, please private message me. I don't want to put out your account number, or I don't want to say your name unless you tell me it's okay. Because apparently this is a contest that is run by cannabis-related industry. So some people are like, "I'll smoke weed, but don't tell other people I smoke weed." It's
Yeah, it's
why
pretty
it's
common.
not illegal. Yeah, man.
Some people are. I'm very excited to see though. How many people will be openly smoking cannabis, or even smoking cannabis privately in their home post legalization? Like, how many people don't smoke cannabis only because it's against the law right now?
I think we need to hire some consultants from the gay rights movement to come on over, because they had a way more flamboyant movement and they were a lot willing to put themselves out there as a group.
The Pride Society de Naibo, they're an awesome group.
Yeah, just like we'll hire some high-ranking consultants who have been in it for like 30 years, and they're like,
Veterans.
"Okay, first off, you need more colors." I'm like, "Colors? You took the whole fucking flag." we have green, I guess, and on really sunny days when the summer, our flags just get lost in the trees. So
There's something about the Canadian flag though, so red and gingery.
it's a fucking awesome
Sweet.
flag.
I love it.
The Maple Leafs weren't even a big part of the East Coast. I think I told you that. They showed up and fucking chased all the Indians off who'd been burning down the forest forever to fucking have buffalo, and then the Maple Leafs are what came back in that area. Google
Oh,
it. I'm not a liar.
Well, there weren't any buffalo in the Maritimes though.
Um,
It's very coastal.
Either way, so that one's not the right. But they were they were doing terraforming of the area before the Europeans showed up. You're right about the maritime, but like that's why the prairies are flat the way they are, because they're burning trees down. There was terraforming going on out there though too, where specific fires were being set and shit like that to make we always do it as human beings. We go to the
Yeah.
area, we go, this looks pretty good, but it can be fucking better,
Mhm.
right? Like, we'll make this better, right? It's always been going on.
Oh yeah, that's just human nature almost.
The reason that it's all fucked up is anthropologists are in charge of figuring this shit out. Have you ever been to an anthropology class or seen an anthropology major? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen one since you stopped having to get. Well, since self-serve gas became popular. Fuck. Oh, there we go. So I think we'll wrap up for today. I should hold
Alrighty.
the prices up. I don't know. We got into a giant political argument. This is what happens. This is why we need other people on a
Yeah.
regular basis,
Yep.
where it's just human being yelling back and forth about stuff.
Two politically charged people.
Oh my god. We need to get that picture of the angry old men from the Muppet
Yes.
Show up there.
Absolutely.
I don't agree on much, but we can both agree to fuck the government.
Fuck 'em.
Oh, it's my favorite line from The Tick. Fucking FBI agents knock on the door, and he's like, "Who is it? The government. We've got enough. Thank you. We've got enough government." Fuck. All right. Thank you very
All
much
right,
for tuning in.
Have a good day, folks.
This might have been an unusually short podcast too, only an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, shit.
I think we might have only mentioned Trump like 3 times.
That's true.
We need a Trump counter.
We do.
I know.
I wonder if he's gonna last the 4 years.
What? 8
He's so
years?
old.
You wonder if he's gonna last the 8 years?
He'll be like 120 years old.
He's a fucking rich white dude.
Yeah, that's a good point. They live forever.
Like, yeah. Holy shit.